Okay, so when it came to managing this project, I mean, I won't lie, it really was a one-man band the entire way through. So that's one thing I can say to people is, you know, don't worry, you don't need to suddenly put a whole team of 10 people on this. You can do it yourself. I think from start to finish, in terms of time scales, I kind of started putting the a kind of GHG emission report together at the beginning of February, and that was completed about September time, obviously, because you have to, the year that we were doing ended at, in the end of June. So obviously it was a couple of months. I had to wait for things like invoices to come through. But I mean, one of the things I would say that I didn't do that I would recommend is get everybody in the business on board, because what you have to do is you have to get a lot of data from people. There's a lot of relying on teams to be able to feed things through to you, whether it's a lot of the time it's your finance team or things like invoices. So one of the things that I would do again is I probably try and get the awareness in the business from as a whole at the beginning, rather than having to keep explaining to people every time I speak to them, well, I'm doing this project and sorry, it's me again. I think I would probably just be a bit more like, okay, this is going to be a good 6 months and I'm going to ask a lot from all of you, and I realize it's probably a bit random, some of the things I'm asking you, but bear with me, this is why we're doing it and what we'll achieve, because I did find I spent a lot of time individually telling people why we're doing it when you're asking for random invoices from couriers from like 9 months ago. But I downloaded the standard and I chose to do the GHG protocol because the guides are free and online on the website. So in all honesty, this was a complete self-taught. I used the PDF and I used the online PDF of the GHG protocol because it gives you a guide of what's in each category, and there's a separate calculation guide, so it kind of tells you how to calculate it. So there was a lot of trial and error. Some areas of Steve will account for when I got overly complicated in areas, but it's just about being really organized. It's just making sure you take your time and read the stuff that's there. And I try to fit it in on a spreadsheet and try to be very kind of logical about these things, and just try to be very organized. So one of the things that really helped was, and I think I'm sure we'll talk about it later when you get to the audit, is you need to have the evidence. So it's logging everything and filing it in a way that you can easily get back to these things. So it's so yeah, I think it probably best part of 9 months from start to finish that we actually did it. But you know, it can be a little bit time consuming at points. But I think again, if you've got teams around you, then that's great. It's not, I wouldn't say it's complicated. I just say it was you just have to be organised. You have to be patient.